I'm Barbara from Bavaria, and this is Mrs. Faraway Stitches. If you are new here, welcome. This is my channel about cross stitch, and I'm very glad that you joined me today. If you are returning, how nice to see you back here. You mean the world to me, and I really enjoyed all your comments and all your likes, and it's so nice to have you back in my dining room at my dining room table. Now, today, this is a rather special Flosstube because I want to show you my plans for May. Many call it May Mania. I like to call it having fun in May. And it's also sort of a little web parade because you will see 29 different webs that I'm stitching on in May. Let me first introduce me to my concept. Well, it's not my concept actually, I didn't make it up, but I saw it on the channel of Brenda from The Handwork Maniac. A very nice channel, please give her a visit. I'll link it down in the description. Some stitchers used to use the May for starting a lot of projects. That I can't do. That would really overwhelm me. So I'm working with a board, and this board looks like this. Every little post-it stands for one project I've worked on a certain day last May and the May before. And I can only have a new start when I finished the old one on that place. That's my concept. And now let's dive into the many whips that are still on the board. I am using this board since 2024, and I have to admit that there are many projects still on the board that I also had in 2024. The first one is this one from Tiny Modernist. It's called Sweet Summer, and it has been a stitch along in 2024. When I heard about this stitch along, it said the stitch along would be cute and summery. And I really like that idea, and I do like Tiny Modernists, so I decided to take part. And we got the border, and I really like the border. It's really beautiful. And then on the 1st of May, actually, the first part came out. And I was a little bit disappointed because if you have a look, it's a bully, that kind of VW bus. And I'm not actually a fan of them. So, well, I started it, but I didn't come very far. And that's how far I am at the moment. I have the first one finished, and then I started the second one, and I really hope to get it done in summer. There is not that much to do, and it's not a big piece anyway. There is nothing ironed, but if you are returning, you know that already. So this one I will stitch on May the 1st. Let's have a look at our second one. This is, oops, no, where's it there? Paris in Spring, May the 2nd. I found it in a magazine. This is my working copy. I've got the magazine online. It's Cross Stitch Favorites Spring 2024 as far as I know. Let me have a look. Can't find it actually. Should have been prepared a little bit better. Yeah, 2024 it is. And it's a really nice Parisian scene with magnolias and with the butterflies, and really, really pretty. I liked all those brilliant spring colors. Got a lot of threads here. They're really nice. It's all DMC. It's done on Ada, Ivory Ada, and that's how far I've come. So, the Tiny Modernist piece was actually on linen. It was a vintage gray linen from Zweigart, and it's stitched with DMC as well. Let's go on to May the 3rd. May the 3rd will be an ink circle piece, and it's called Reflections of Scotland. And it's so pretty, and I love Scotland that much, and so this is where I am. No, this is where I am. It was wrong. So I've done all the middle part, and I've done this outer part. This is where it stops actually. And I use a white even weave and a glorious Gloriana silk in the color Seaweed. And it's absolutely pretty, and for me it's totally Highlands with a pink, no, not pink, purple, and the green, and there is some bluish in it. So pretty and really buttery. It's a joy to stitch on it. And it's not a big piece, so probably I should finish it sometimes. I've started it in November 2023, so it's a little bit older already. Next one. This is a little bit embarrassing because it is actually a Christmas gift for my son. He's a big fan of all things Japanese, and so I decided in 2023 to stitch Pretty Little Tokyo for him for Christmas. This year we have 2026. He regularly asks about it, but it's still not finished. This is where I am. There is a lot done, actually. It's one of the pieces where I'm quite far, but Pretty Little Tokyo, I thought this was something I could do really quickly, and no, there is a lot of stitching in it. There are a lot of stitches in it, but look at all those colors. Show them to you. Such bright colors. Whoops. Can't see anything. Such bright colors and lots of them. And I've got a little Japanese floss hanger that I got from my son at some point. Isn't that sweet? Probably he wanted to encourage me to stitch on. So the next one. This was actually a new start, my second new start in 2024 when I started my board, and it's a biggie. It was my first Bella Filipina, and it's called Daughters of Estuary. Really beautiful and really, really big. And that's how far I've come. I think that's the right way to go. Can't really see it because it's so big. I'm working on it a little bit higher. It's a beauty. It's stitched on vintage blue linen from Zweigart, 32 count, with all the called for DMCs and silks and Kreinik. There are wonderful silks. Show them to you. 2 colors of silks. The one is flame, and red and purple. Really beautiful. And the other one is even more beautiful. It's called Nefertiti. So the beautiful comes. I think that's what it translates from Egypt. Really, really beautiful. I'm looking forward to finish that. Not anytime soon, but eventually. And there are also a few Kreinik in that orange and teal. And of course, a lot of colors. And lots and lots of 2 packs of pearls and treasures, beads and treasures. This is pack number 1, and this is pack number 2. So that is Daughters of Estuary. And in the last day, in the first week of Having Fun in May in 2024, I stitched on a really special piece for me. It's called Ragnarök. It's a long dog sampler, and I'm blown away from the deepness of the mythological stories from the north, from Norway, from the Viking world. It's really, really beautiful. And it's big. 309 times 361 stitches. And I've just a small start. Well, it looks small. It's actually a lot done. Hope and a part of is. And it says, hope is the last thing ever lost. How true that is. And it's stitched not with DMC, but with a silky 12 weight. Is it 12 weight? Yes, I guess so. Yeah, silky cotton 12 in the color 1039, which is a deep, rich red. And it lends itself perfectly to be stitched on 20 count Ada with 1 strand. It has perfect coverage. And I chose the red as a reminiscence of runestones that I've seen in the north when I have visited there. So this was the first this was the first week in May 2024. And now I'll take a little time off to get the second week to show to you. So here we are again for our week 2 of Having Fun in May. The first piece was a new start in 2025, last year. And the ones about you that are returning viewers do know it already, because it's this one. It's my Bayeux tapestry piece. It came up for Wipco, I think, last month or 2 months ago, and that's where I am. So this is what it looks when you try to recreate medieval embroidery in cross stitch, because of course it's not really cross stitch. It's stitched on a very coarse linen. It was a kit from Maison d'Achou, and it's stitched with wool like the original, and the colors are really, really close, I have to admit. I was lucky enough to visit the Bayeux Tapestry when it was still in France, in Bayeux. And if you want to visit it, then you have to go to London at the moment because it will be there on display, I think from September, and tickets will be available from July. I think from July. If you have the possibility, do it. It's absolutely impressive. A great piece of embroidery, of craft, and a great piece of history. So, and I started it last May. I brought it along from Bayeux, from France, because I wanted to honor this great piece of history and embroidery. The second day is an older piece, and you can see it if you look at my threads, because no floss drops. When I came back to stitching, I did what I always had done in the early 2000s, and that meant bobbins. So there are still bobbins on it. No, the thread is still on bobbins. That's what I wanted to say. And it's this piece, really beautiful, very, very pretty. A Victorian Christmas, samplers and stitches. And it's actually one of the first pieces I started in 2022 when I came back and when I learned you don't have to work only on one piece. It's not a hard stitch. It's really easy going and it's very pretty, and I really should finish it. So that was day 2 of week 2. Day 3. If you're returning, you know that already too. It's the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Arctic Animals Club. You might remember the story that I had to frog a lot. I started it as a new start in 2024 when I started my board. It was new then. And that's where I am. I had though to restart it because the fabric I chose in the beginning was much too light. You couldn't see the white very well, and there is a lot of white in this piece. Of course, Arctic animals. Who would have thought that? And it's really sweet. I want to have some progress on it, and there will be some time till it is finished, but it's something I really look forward to stitch on. The next one. This is a piece that I'm decidedly undecided about. It's Barbara Anna Designs, Sailing Dreams. It's one of the Dreaming Girls. I saw it stitched by a German stitcher called Stitchy Mama. She's got a channel as well, and if you want to see loads of really pretty whips and a lot of progress, have a look at her channel. I'll link it down below in the description. I saw it. It's absolutely beautiful. I began to stitch it, and how shall I put that? I just haven't fun stitching it. It doesn't bring me joy. There are nice colors. It's not a big piece. I have a pretty fabric. It's an opalescent natural linen in 32 count, Zweigart. That's where I am. And I started this in 2023. And it just doesn't bring me joy. Eventually it will be finished, but I don't know when. And it's just nothing I'm drawn to. The next one is a really pretty piece from Dimensions. That's this one, and there is a story behind it. It's called Northern Nights. What you see is only a copy. The original cardboard from the cardboard package was too big for my project bag, so I took a copy and the cardboard is somewhere on a shelf. Of course, there are a lot of colors. You see, bird's nest again. Who knows me knows I'm professional in making bird's nests out of my threads, and I use this my own cardboard cards for my threads. The problem is when you take it out of these whatever you call this, where do you put the rest of your thread? And that's why I make this cardboard thingies and just put my the rest of my threads. Now we go. English is a really, really difficult language sometimes. If you have a better system, just tell me, because I'm always on the lookout for learning new things. Yeah, that's where I am. Not a lot done, but it's just fun. It's I think it's 14 or 16 count. It may be 16 count, and it's blue grayish color. And I actually had planned another start on this day, but then we had the most beautiful northern lights the night before, and they were visible here where I live, where you normally can't see any northern lights. We are in the south of Germany, and it was the first day in my life ever to see northern lights, and I was so impressed that I decided I'll put away the other new start and I'll start something with northern lights on it. And that's the story behind this started in 2024. The next one is a very, very pretty piece, and I've started it at the beginning of my new enthusiasm for cross stitch in 2022. It's by the little stitcher. It's called Avalon. She sells on Etsy, and I love her very much. I've stitched quite a few things of her. And if you have a look behind me, there are the Vikings. That was a little stitcher piece as well, and it was my first bigger piece when I came back to stitching. And so here is Avalon, and there is a little problem with it. When I first stitched in the early 2000s, I did what everyone did. I stitched on one piece, and this piece was usually white 14 count Ada. And sometimes, if I was going very luxurious, there may have been beads in it or a Kreinik, and probably a linen in 32 or 28 count, rather 28 count. And then I came back and I saw all this explosion of possibilities. I found Flosstube, I found Etsy, I found hand-dyed threads and hand-dyed fabrics. And I saw people stitching on 40 count. And this is 40 count linen, hand-dyed 40 count linen. And I thought, wow, that's really beautiful. Those tiny, tiny stitches, and you need only one thread. And the pictures are not that big. And I began to stitch several pieces. But what shall I tell you? I can't see it. My eyesight is not the best, and it's most certainly not better than it was when I stitched in the 2000s. And I really only can stitch on it with a magnifier with very, very good light in summer, daylight, and it's really tedious, which is a shame because it's an absolutely beautiful piece. I have indeed UFO'd and restarted quite a few pieces that I've started on 40 count, but this one was just too far in it. So eventually it will get finished, but this is really work. That's not fun. And that's a shame because I love that picture very much. The last one for this week was a new start last year as well. And it was something my husband requested. He had seen this. It's a Eva Rosenstand and it's called Parrots. Well, it's not called Parrots. Actually, Eva Rosenstand doesn't name her pictures, but I call it Parrots just to make it clear. It's a huge picture, absolutely huge. This is a bed sheet. Oops, this way around. It's a bed sheet. You see how big it is. Yeah. And this is everything I have. I haven't stitched on it since last May. I will take it up again this May and probably leave it out for some time. This is a linen. It was a kit. And it's the linen thread. It might be DMC. I think Eva Rosenstand works with DMC. So, this was week 2. And now I have to put everything away because there is not that much room here and bring out week 3. Now we are in week 3 of having fun in May. The first one is really an embarrassment. It's this one, I don't even have a picture of it. Little Birds, Little Season Birds Minisel by Little Stitcher, the Little Stitcher. I've got it on Etsy. It was a stitch along in 2023 when I started my board. No, that was 2024. In 2024 when I started my board. I'm a little back behind the time. I still think it's 2025, so, well, beautiful colors. And I think there are more to it. I just haven't put them on the floss drops. And just remember, I started this in the year 2024. It's a mini stitch along. And that's where I am. That's absolutely pathetic. There are indeed 4 little squares with 4 little birds and a very nice sort of, I would say, lace border. Well, I had to frog it a lot. I think that's my 3rd or 4th try to stitch that lace border, but that's everything I achieved in more than 2 years. That's pathetic. And I really like the motif. There are just sweet little birds and it's not big at all. Well, another try this year. The next one is a Nora Corbett. It's Ophelia's Pearl and it was the first Nora Corbett and the first mermaid that I've ever stitched. Wonderful colors. I especially loved that those colors are not the typical mermaid colors, but an explosion of purples and pinks and deep reds and brown. So pretty. There are also a few beads with it, and there is no crying at all, which is rather beautiful. And that's where I am. And I really, really want to put a little focus on it this year, because actually it doesn't look like much, but the upper part isn't that big at all. So I could perhaps finish it this year. Oh well, who am I kidding? I won't. But I will eventually. The next one is one you already know too if you are a returning viewer, because it was also a Whipco piece and it's This one, it's Titanic. It's a kit from Heritage Crafts. I bought it in Scotland. Might be in Britain. I'm not quite sure. No, I think it was Scotland. When we visited the Britannia, they had it in the shop. And I brought it back and I studied it for my husband, who is a big fan of everything transport, especially trains and ships. And of course, the Titanic has a huge history behind it. And that's the thread. I think it's DMC. It has the DMC numbers anyway. And it's stitched on the kit fabric, which is a white even weave 28 count. And that's how far I've come. There will be a little time till she sails, but I'm really quite happy with how she looks. And it's a fun stitch. I've just so many whips that I don't come to focus on single pieces. The next one is a beautiful one as well, and it's very popular, I think. I've seen it quite a few times. Not so much in the last videos I've watched. It's the Blue Flower Tudor Bee. I'm a big fan of the Tudor series from the Blue Flower. There are a few new ones at the market releases, and I want to have them, of course. And this was the first one I've started. It was my New Year's start in 2024, and that's where I am. And it's not that big a piece, and I really want to finish. It's 36 count, sort of hand-dyed fabric, but I'm really not sure where I got it. And I'm stitching it with the called for needle paint silks. Here they are. They really stitch nicely. They are not like the watercolors, but they are solid colors, just solid colors. And really buttery, fun to stitch. And I really like the motif. I'm a big history fan, so I like everything history. And so I like this too. The next one was a new start last year. And it's Carolyn Manning, one of the Tent Maker Smalls, the May, very fitting for May, of course. Very nice, sort of dusty colors, muted colors, nice color palette, really beautiful. And that's my meager start. It's also a piece I've never taken up after having fun in May, after having started it. And it's my first Carolyn Manning. I've got quite a few of her patterns. You actually can't get them at the moment in Europe if you want to have a PDF, only if you take the paper ones, and I like to stitch from PDF, so that's a little bit of a bummer. Stitching is a lot more complicated than it was when I started back in 2022, actually, or even in the early 2000s when I got all of my stitching stuff from Britain back then, which was very convenient because Britain was still pre-Brexit, and so was the place to go to if you wanted to have everything. The last one for week number 3 is another Nora Corbett. I studied it last year. It took up a free spot in my board, and this is Glittering Leaves. Sorry, I had a hanger. Glittering Leaves. It's very pretty, it's very elegant, it's an autumn piece, of course. I'm stitching it on an opalescent natural linen by Zweigart with golden well, it's not opalescent, it's actually metallic and it's golden. And it fits very nicely, and that's where I am. And you may have seen it before because I stitched on it this year, since I started Flosstube. Right. So this was almost all of week 3. I have one other thing to show you, and I have to get it because I forgot it. And that's my finish I had in this week. A piece that I could finish and that left a free spot. So, and this is my finish. It's the Nativity Tiny Town. Very, very popular. Came out National Needle Market 2025. And yeah, well, it was a start and a finish. I started it in May. On May the, let me have a look, what was it? Can't see that really. 20th, and I finished it in this January. I really love it. It's going to the framer, and I will be happy to have it on my wall for Christmas. Now it's week 4 of having fun in May. And the first one I actually can't show you. If I manage, I'll put a picture up here or here, wherever I manage. And that is because it is a finish. So I finished it and I brought it to the framer just yesterday. And it will take a few weeks till I get it back. I'll show it to you when it is fully finished, actually, before I put it up to my wall. It was Summer Refreshes by Summer House Stitch Works, and I've stitched on it a lot in the last time, so you have seen it, you know it well anyway because it's a popular piece. And as soon as I get it back, I'll show it to you. Next one was a new start in 2025, and I've already showed it to people that follow me for a longer time, and it's this brilliant piece from Riolis. It's a kit, Era of Dinosaurs. I was drawn to it because of the wonderful colors. They're really great colors. So, can you see them? Not what you would expect if you are stitching dinosaurs, but that was exactly the point where I said, well, I want to stitch that. I love dinosaurs, you know that already. And this is a brilliant piece, I think. It's thought of full coverage, and I am really, really looking forward to stitching on it from time to time. It's stitched on Ada. This is 16 count, I guess. Does it say anywhere? No, it actually doesn't. And it's stranded cotton. That might be anchor. And that's where I am. Very colorful. Not much done, but it's fun. And it's one of my new starts of last year. I had actually a lot of new starts last year because I had a lot of finishes between 2024 and 2025. Next one, also a new start. Unfortunately, those new starts were almost all in 1 week. Now you can't, that's a lot of glare here. I'll put that out of the package. And that's a French designer, Les Brodeuses Parisiennes, and it's called Un jour à Paris en été. Very nice Paris scene with the Tour Eiffel, the Eiffel Tower, and a very nice lady, flowers, summery. That's fun. That's really fun to stitch. And I stitch it on a wood shelf, a 32 count think that's Icelandic beige or something like that, not quite sure. And that's how far I've come. Not much, but it's really fun to stitch on it. It's an easy stitch and well, it's really summery. I think I'll take it on my holidays this year, which are going to France, to the south of France, and perfect stitch for that. Next one is another one that is still on bobbins. You see that? The ones that are not on bobbins are the special flosses, and if you see two special flosses and a lot of DMC, you probably know that's Cottage Garden. And so it is. It's the reindeer. From the A Year in the Woods series number 12. I really love that piece, and I have no excuse at all why that isn't finished yet. And that's where I am. There's a little bit down there, you can see that. And that's where I am, and I just have to put that through. So that was the reindeer. The next one is another one with a little bit of a history, and you've already seen it if you are returning, because it's my VIPGO piece for this month. It's Love Potion by the Fat Quarter Shop, and I've already told you, but if you're new, I'll say it again. I stitched that for my husband for my 30th anniversary. I wanted to stitch it for my 30th anniversary. This year we'll have our 33rd anniversary. I did a lot this month actually. I stitched here, I stitched everything here, I stitched here, and I wanted to start it in May, and I started it in May. It was a new start in May 2024 when I started my board. But actually I planned to start it in January, and I couldn't get the flosses. It's all through Classic Colorworks, and my floss package lay in the shop because Ladybug wasn't available at that time. And Ladybug is actually one of the flosses where you need a lot of it. So eventually my husband will get it for an anniversary, maybe for our 40th, and it's a big piece. I'm not quite sure. It doesn't sound big. It's a square 122 times 122, but it is a big piece, and I'm stitching it on. That's an Ada 16 count opalescent white. The next one is Greek Gods and Goddesses from Clouds Factory. I really like Clouds Factory. I finished 2 pieces by them, Henry VIII and his wife. It was 6, as it were, and the coronation piece for Charles and Camilla. And this is the Greek Gods and Goddesses. I really like those whimsy persons here, and it's really beautiful, but there is just not a lot done. It's stitched on a Zweigart 32 count, and I can't remember the name of the color. So that's where I am. And I'm really looking forward to doing a little bit more of the border and putting another god or goddess in. Not quite sure what the next one is. Let's have a look. So that might be, what's that? Apollo beside Hera. Here we go. And here will be Apollo. Sweet one. And the last one for week number 4 is one you have seen already if you are returning. That's a sentence I use very frequently today. It's this one, he is risen. It's from Just Cross Stitch magazine, spring 2024. I have it as a online subscription, and this is my working copy. And that's where I am. It's sort of full coverage. Even the white is stitched, and it's just an Ada. I think that's 16 count or 18 count. Might be 18 count. And I really loved the spring colors that are rather unusual for an Easter motif, I thought. But they are pretty. So there are only a few days from the last May week left, and I'm going to put away my stuff and getting my last projects. Now we are in week 5, which wasn't a complete week in 2024, but only 4 days. And the first one was a new start in 2024, and it was another Nora Corbett. So I have 3 Nora Corbetts on that board. And this is Raven, one of the Bewitching Pixies. I think they are extremely elegant, and I like stitching on them. It's a really nice stitch. I've stitched on it several times since then. It's still not finished, of course, but that's where I am. It's a wetshot 32 count milk chocolate linen, and there are a few beads. And I'm a little bit astonished that there are sort of red beads in it, Magnifica glass beads, 10019. If you are stitching that, tell me, do you have red beads too? Or is that just wrong? I've got the bead pack, the official bead pack, and I'm a little bit astonished about that. Please tell me in the comments if you know more about that. And that's where I am. There is a lot of block stitching, and it's really fun to stitch. And I'm looking forward to have it finished someday. The next one has a story as well. It was with Avalon, one of the first pieces I've stitched. It's from the Little Stitcher, and it's the Victorian Witch. And I think she is truly elegant. It's a piece you want to hang in your rooms, but not only at Halloween. Very, very nice. Only a few colors, and as with Avalon, I thought that would be fun doing on 40 count, which wouldn't have been big. And that's everything I came to from, I think it was February 2022 till last year in May, because I just can't see it. And the brown, the dark brown, and the 40 count, and it just didn't, it wasn't funny. And all the colors are brownish. It's like a study in sepia. So everything is brown. And so I decided to make it a new start, and I've got a new start, and that's what I stitched last year, only during that one day in May. And it's a shame I didn't put it, I didn't take it up, but I will this year. I actually will this month, because actually this month on WipGo, the 13 was called, and the 13 is a Halloween piece in my book. So I can work on any Halloween piece I want, and I've decided to work on the Victorian Witch, if I don't change my mind. And the next one is a stitch along as well. It was a stitch along in 2023. The Salem Sisters Apothecary from Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I think the stitch along began in October or something like that. and I wanted to make it very special and to have special floss, and I ordered um, hand-dyed flosses called Black Tulip, which is a really beautiful dark burgundy, purple, black. Very, very pretty. It came from Hungary, from Bavaria Creations, and it didn't come. It took ages. Usually they ship quite quickly, and I've ordered a lot of fabrics there, and that has never been a problem, but this just didn't arrive, which meant that everyone was almost finished with their stitch along when I got my threads. And I think that took me a little bit aback, but that's where I am. I am quite some time in, and this is a 32 count. I think it's called Stormy Night. It's one of the vintage printed fabrics by Zweigart in the darker gray. So now we come to my last one. It has also been a start in my very first year of having fun in May, and it's another little stitcher. You see, there is a pattern there, and it's this one, Blessed Bee. Everyone was doing bee stitching, and I wanted to have one too. And so I started this one, 2024. Not a big piece. And that's where I am. Well, that's a little bit embarrassing too. So there is a lot to do this May. And just like that, you have seen a third of my whips. I've got around 100 whips and you have seen 29 of them. So this was technically sort of a whip parade. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I really would like you to tell me if there is any piece you think that has to be finished for next year and you won't see it, you don't want to see it again. And let's have a look at my Mania board, which should be renewed sometimes because the sun has taken a little bit toll on it. Everything here is to be stitched on, and everything here is to be stitched on too. And here is to be stitched on, but I finished this one, and I can put a new one in here. I haven't decided yet. That will be my surprise for the next month, for May. And this one is a free spot as well. So I have two free spots and we can start two new pieces. That's nice because that's not too much work, but there is something new in it. And I thought we'll see again at the end of April for my April wrap-up to show you everything I stitched in April, which I didn't mention today. And then would you like to have weekly updates in May, just to see what I've worked on during the week and how far I've come? Would that be something you would like? If yes, just tell me in the comments. This is the end of my video for today. If you made it this far, thank you very much for spending time with me. If you have any questions at all about my projects, about having fun in May, about whatever you are interested in, the way I'm stitching, the way I'm organizing or not organizing actually often enough, just ask. I am really always very curious about your questions and I really like to answer them. I read every single comment and I try to answer every single comment of yours. If you like what you saw, it would be nice if you gave me a like or subscribe to my channel if you aren't a subscriber yet. And for now, everything I have to tell you is take care, stitch on, and all the best to you from Bavaria. Bye bye!